Good morning or afternoon. Glad to have you, whether you're a subscriber, an occasional viewer, a new viewer, or a member. Just a reminder, these are off the cuff in the middle of my workday. If you're looking for more CLE style, you're going to have to go to that section. And if you're looking for more elementary school fashion, you might not find it here either. So it's not for everybody, but enjoy. And I hope some of these Social Security related matters that come up in my day and affect my clients might actually be able to help you as well. Have a good one. Hey, let's do a quick rundown of, there's a video where we discuss in my opinion, the wise choice of not always wearing your legal filings, personal legal business with your doctors, with your medical office staff, with your medical assistant, or the receptionist, or the doctor himself. And specifically, I'm referring to the fact that you have filed or are thinking of filing for Social Security Disability or SSI. The video explains why that is so. There's a lot of bias out there, and you don't know until you do, whether your doctor or that little MA who has the power of the pen over your medical records has that bias streak within them. So, as a rule of thumb, I don't recommend spilling your beans, wearing it on your sleeve, putting it on the front page of the newspaper. I just don't. That said, someone asked me about, well, if I'm being dishonest to my doctor, isn't that really bad? And in my opinion, you're not being dishonest if you don't tell him your personal business. Do you tell him what you do under your sheets in your bedroom? Probably not. Your legal choices are your legal choices. They have nothing to do with your treatment, right? What's medically, best for you. Okay. And the other thing was, well, what if he directly asks? Personally, there are a few things in this world that doctors have been encouraged to ask and to meddle in. I'm not going to go into the other ones, but most of us know when to, keep it to ourselves because it's not necessarily their business. There are political maneuverings that, encourage them to ask this, and they stay in good graces with the network upper management and all that. That's their business, I'm not sharing what I don't want to share, particularly if it has nothing to do with what I'm hiring and paying them to do for me. Okay, that's one thing. Now, if your doctor is very meddling in what is not his business and wants to know, but has not indicated he'd be supportive already of this, and I've never seen this happen, by the way. So if any of you guys have had this happen, I'd love to hear about it. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I just haven't heard of it happen, where a doctor who's not already got 500 patients in one day he's trying to deal with. So therefore, usually they don't have the time to start inquiring on things that are irrelevant to their job. But if he outright asks you, and I think that the viewer was curious about this, what if he notices you're not working and says, you're not working, what are you doing, filing for Social Security Disability? I've never seen a doctor do that. And it is none of his business. So if someone says, well, if someone asks you a question, you are obligated to tell them, even if it's none of their business. I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that. To each his own, though. If you think you must, and it's to the detriment of your case, but you must give someone information that is none of their business simply because they asked. I mean, if they ask to reach into your wallet, are you going to give them that too? Just because they asked doesn't mean, I disagree, but you may feel otherwise. So it's up to you and what you can sleep with at night. I personally could not sleep with giving up all my personalities just because someone with a white jacket asked it of me. It's not what I'm going to do. So if a doctor is meddling outside of what his pay lane is, that's up to you personally. And if you think, well, if I say no and I'm lying, that's really, really bad. I don't even agree. But if you do, then why don't you consider something like this? There are many ways to skin the cat to deflect someone who's meddling or trying to squeeze in your front door uninvited. You could say, oh, that's a thought. Guess what? You didn't deny it or admit it. And then tell him you got to go to the bathroom. Get him off the track of his nosy little mind. Again, I've never seen a doctor want to spend more time talking about your legal matters than getting you in and out of that doctor office and on to his next patient. So I don't think this is actually a problem, but someone was concerned about it, so I wanted to address it. In terms of what I would do, and what you do in your moral compass is entirely different. But I don't think you lack a moral compass if you don't let someone invade your privacy outside their pay lane. And even if it is in their pay line, you have your own pay lane. You are your own adult. You have legal rights to, not share your personal information just because someone asks for it. That's my opinion, guys. And you could think otherwise, but I will definitely say, know that you have a decent chance of hurting your case if you wear your legal claims and filings before you know the person you're telling is highly supportive. So just know the costs and the risks. You're basically potentially sacrificing your case to some degree. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey, so if the subject matter of the video you just listened to is of interest and you want more on it, stay tuned. Here's another one about the same topic, but a little bit different. Bye now. Good evening. Really quick warning here about something that ends up showing up in medical records, and it completely portrays you in a way that isn't good, and I'm sure you did not mean. And it's really interesting how it happens, because sometimes I think it's a little underhanded. So I want to share it with you so you can be aware. Sometimes something will show up in a medical record, a narrative that was perhaps produced by a medical assistant or a nurse or a tech or even a doctor. And it might say something to the effect of, patient is here because he wants disability. Or patient is fighting a disability claim and wants a report. Or patient wants a letter saying he can't work for disability. All of those have their various unintended and not so favorable interpretations. I know oftentimes what it is a patient who has a disability claim talks to their doctor because they know about all their impairments, and they're explaining how they can't work, and they are filing for disability because they paid in all these years, and they are unable to go to work, and et cetera, et cetera. And would the doctor be willing to just write a note about what he thinks about your abilities to work full-time? It's an innocent enough question, of course, but you'd be surprised how often it is the mere fact that the question is included in the medical records tends to make me think that the medical provider who put it in there is not really keen on you or perhaps anybody filing for disability. I've heard different scenarios from different medical providers about it. And the theory is that sometimes, it could be a variety of things. That medical provider could be, hey, if I'm working with an aching back, so can you. And they're not going to say that to you necessarily, but you watch that little snarky comment get in the records. It's unfortunate because I really think it sets a tone for whatever decision makers on your case when they see that, because the obviously interpretation is that the medical provider clearly thinks that you don't have a valid reason to file for disability. So that is not helpful at all. What I tell my clients is, you know what? Don't even talk to your doctors about disability. Unless your doctor is like, listen, you need to come out of work or you're going to die. If they say something that is significant, if they say I really think you need to stop working, file for disability, do what you got to do, but you've got to rest this body, blah, 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 blah. Awesome. Now you got a doctor who is supportive. He obviously knows you well. Let's face it, a lot of these doctors don't know you from a hill of beans. So, sharing with them that you're filing is a huge risk. So I think it's the better side is cautious and not sharing your entire life, particularly your legal life, with your doctor, unless and until you have reason to know that he would be supportive. There's nothing, he's not going to do anything to help you if he has no idea what disability is about. A lot of them have no idea. A lot of them think it means that you are an invalid. And therefore, when they see you in the office and you got there by yourself, you're not an invalid. Obviously, you are kind of not really validly applying for disability. Of course, what they don't know is that is not the definition of disability. But you know what? You can't, people that don't want to know about it aren't going to know about it. It's not his field, or her field. So I just think too many times I see it backfire. When you're just looking for a little support because you know your body and you know what you're able to do and not able to do, and you ask your doctor, not so good. There are times later in the case after we've seen what's in the medical records and we know what's going to be legally relevant and helpful versus what's not there or what's actually not helpful, if so. And therefore, we know if we're going to try to get the doctor to share a little more clarification about your condition that maybe his records weren't very clear about, that would be a different situation. Different than letting it just be off the cuff. He's here because he's looking for disability. Okay. So I think don't mention it unless you have reason to. Loose lips. Okay. There are biased people out there. And in the medical field, it's maybe one of the worst ones. So just know that not everybody is always on your side. Not in terms of disability cases. They're on your side about getting you in the door and treating you. And, it's a business, but sometimes that's where the buck stops. So just giving you a little word. Sorry.